Hello everyone, I am Nikesh Pathak, and in this video we are gonna see how to expose simple REST API using Spring Boot. Before I start, I am assuming you already know Spring Basic and Gradle build system. So why Spring Boot? Basically it helps to minimize configuration overhead. With Spring Boot you can easily create standalone production grade application. There is a multiple feature provided by Spring Boot, like you can create a standalone production ready application embedded with Tomcat, Jetty and other server. Also you can direct build executable jar files. No code generation and no requirement of XML configuration. Let's visit a Spring initializer site to generate a template project. So I'm adding a group name com.example.customer with web dependency and selecting a project as a Gradle project. And Spring Boot version is 1.5.9. Now click on generate project, and once generated project is downloaded, open this project into your favorite IDE. In my case, I prefer using IntelliJ IDEA. So I have imported into my IDE. Now you can see build.gradle file where already starter web and test library is there. This both library is enough to create a standalone application including unit test and deployment with embedded server like Tomcat. Let's sync this project and create a required packages like service, model and repo. Now I am going to create a customer class within a model package and add some fields like ID, name, email, CTS date and generate their getter and setter. Then create a controller class to expose the endpoint. For this, we have to mark this class as a REST controller, and for defining a URL, we have to mark it as a request mapping and define a URL within it. Let's go to a service package to define service and its implementation. Here I am going to create a customer service interface to define a method template. I am skipping some methods create over here and moving to create a service customer service implementation, and then override a customer service method, and don't forget to mark this class as a service. Here you can see I have implemented all the methods. Like if you are creating a resource, then you have to mark the method as a post, and if you are updating a resource, then you have to mark a method as a put. Same as other, for a get resource, get verb, for a delete resource, delete verb. In the case of a Spring, if you are receiving a data into a body, then you have to mark a method parameter as a request body. And receiving a data into URL parameter, then mark a method as a path variable. And if you are getting a data as a query parameter, then mark a method as a query param. Now we have created controller and service, but we need repository to interact with database and do operation on it. So I am going to add a library. Here I am using a Postgres SQL database for operation using a Spring library that is called Spring Data JPA. It is one of the best library for a small and medium level project where without deal with SQL query you can write most of the operation. So let's see how it works. Now marking a class as an entity and defining a table name as a tbl underscore customer. Also mark a ID as a primary key. Let's create a repository interface and now extend this interface with CRUD repository. Once you extend this interface, it will provide you all the basic operation like find by name, find by ID, delete by ID, save, etc. I will make a separate video for it to cover all the basic operation of Spring Data. Let's get back to a customer service implementation and auto-wire a customer repository and use the predefined method. There is nothing magic here. If check a CRUD repository class, you will know all the detail. Let's configure a database connection in application.property. Here I have defined DB URL, username, password and Hibernate PostgreSQL dialect. If you wanted to show a SQL query in log, then make so SQL equals to true. Let's execute our application. So here I'm going to a demo application method and run application as in debug mode. As you can see, logs Spring is starting, and now application is started. Now let's open a database and see if the table is created or not. Here I'm going to refresh this, and now we can see that table customer is created now. Now I have opened a Postman, one of the REST client, and going to test a newly created APIs. Let's add one of record. So here I have defined content type as a JSON and creating a body. Once body is prepared, click on send button and save a data. Now we get a successful return. So let's open a database and cross check. Here after refreshing, now we have successfully inserted our data into a database. Let's do other operation. Let's get a newly inserted data with a get operation, passing their ID into URL parameter. And here we get a successful response. Same as you can also test other operations like delete and update. Now you can check out the sample project from my Git page that I have defined in below description. Hope you like this video. Thanks for watching.